I have a couple of texts.
Do you have any audio for this one? Delicious has a song.
Yeah, it's on my keyboard. I may not do the Gene Simmons. Well, yeah. All right, here we go.
You're listening to Danny and the Jar
on 98.1 The Max.
It's Danny and the Jar.
98.1 The Max.
We last hour talked about Vietnam finding an operation that was repackaging and selling used condoms. They washed and reshaped them and packaged them in plastic bags. They confiscated more than over 320,000 of the used condoms. And we kiddingly asked you if you would buy a used condom. Someone said hell to the no on our Rick's Powder Coating text line. Joe in Jonesboro said, like a used car, quote, "What do I have to do to put you in this condom today?" And Tony said, that's like wearing a sweater a wrestler wore. You know that neck is stretched out. Just absolutely nasty. It's absolutely gross. And, of course, Gene Simmons, the older he's gotten, has got more politically reminded, but he was asked on Twitter, hey, how are you going to vote and feeling, Gene? Always thought you'd be a smart man. How's this all working out for you on the side of democracy? Despite the compliment, Simmons fired back. Thanks for asking. It's nobody's business who you vote for, and you'll never convince the other person of your beliefs. So just go to the voting booth, draw the curtain, vote for your conscience, and stop asking people who you're voting for. It's none of your business. And an attorney for the Doobie Brothers sent a comical and lighthearted cease and desist letter to actor Bill Murray for illegally using the band's 1972 evergreen Listen to the Music. Murray's placed the tune without permission in commercials for Zero Hucks Given shirts, which are part of his golf collection. The letter says, in part, given that you haven't paid to use it, maybe you should change the name to $0 given. That's pretty funny.
I don't know why people are so against each other using their music. Who cares?
Well, when it comes to politics, just...
Are those political shirts I'm unaware of?
Maybe so, but...
No, they're zero... You just read to us that it was a golf shirt line.
Right.
So how is that political?
No, I'm talking about in politics, people don't like for you to use their music if they're not politically on your side, is my point.
But you would just think that the Doobie Brothers would love that they have the exposure with this commercial.
Oh, no, it was a comical and lighthearted.
Okay.
It wasn't serious. No, it wasn't serious at all.
They had fun with the letter. The lawyer had fun with the letter. But when I read the story, I took it as they have a cease and desist, but had fun when they wrote the letter. The letter's serious.
They said they sent a comical and lighthearted cease and desist letter. So
right.
They weren't being serious.
Okay.
But I can understand if you're not on the side of a politician, he plays your music, you don't want that exposure either.
No one remembers.
True. Coming up now, what is the health department saying about their decision to open up bars? We'll tell you the latest next.
Okay, so where did you go?
Oh, no. I was afraid you lost me.
Where did you go?
I'm going to back out and try.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I just looked over and
Your face was gone.
I know, but then I got scared because I thought I lost you.
Could you not see me?
Mm-hmm.
You could see me.
Mm-hmm. Where did you save Corey?
DJ 5 p.m. S1.
Okay.
I don't know why you don't think this is a real letter.
It was a real little bit, but it says it was comical.
But it's a serious letter. They're telling him to stop playing it without paying him.
I don't think they would be serious if they were comical about it.
I mean, have you read it?
The letter?
The lawyers for the Doobie Brothers is demanding that the actor Bill Murray pay. However, they did it in a humorous way.
We just don't see it the same way then.
How is there one way or the other? They're suing Bill Murray. Period.
Let me go to topic balls.
I don't know that that's up for argument unless I'm completely. I don't know how other words to. Doobie Brothers threatened Bill Murray with legal action. Bill Murray faces legal threat from Doobie Brothers.
Well, I just thought it was lighthearted because topic balls, that headline said Doobie Brothers send funny cease and desist letter to Murray. All right, but that's in the past. Let's move your 8:20, your good news to 8:23, and I want to do Corey at 8:38. Okay.
I don't care. That was in the past too. That whole thing ran yesterday. Do what you want.
I thought you said yesterday that you wanted to do it, but I thought.
Look, dude, just try and read a story without stumbling. That's my only goal for today. Let's try it. And let's try not to read it.
I'm trying to learn to do that too.
Just, the reason we were irritated in the past is because the facts were never right on the show in the morning. And that's the one thing we want to do is make sure the facts are correct on the show.
Okay. Well, I saw it another way. Okay. I apologize.
I know, but just read the third line. My main concern is why did your camera go off?
I don't know. As long as it doesn't do it again. But I just got, well, that was another reason. I got scared because I was like, did she lose me? Did I lose her? Did you put this tease in or do you want me to do
I'm
live?
trying to right now. There's no way you're gonna have to do it live.
Coming up here on Danny and the Jar. Now, what is the health department saying about their decision to open bars? We'll give you the latest next.
Danny and the Jar. 98.1 The Max.
All right, if you don't want to do Corey, I can find something else. But I thought yesterday you said we were going to do both.
It doesn't matter. Just do it. I'm just tired of having to edit everything. So just do it. And you can edit the other one if you want to do the Korean one. I don't care. But I don't have time today.
I got you. Hey, don't forget the concert announcement.
You're on Danny and the Chop.
98.1 The Max.
Remember what concerts were? Well, we got one coming, and we'll tell you who at 9 o'clock. The Shelby County Health Department on Thursday defended its decision to open bars this week, saying it now knows that if the rules are followed, transmission is no more likely to happen there as in full-service restaurants. Now, they've been open for months. The only thing that we did disagree with that was we said that, after a few drinks in a bar, you kind of quit following the rules, and that's why they had them closed. That was the only thing that made sense to me. But they do feel that limited service restaurants are not any more risky than any other, given that all adhere to the same safety measures. Now, the measures require bars patrons to be seated and served at tables. So no, the bar won't be open still. No dancing. I feel like we're going to Baptist church, a Southern Baptist church at a bar. No dancing is allowed indoors. And music must be at a level that people can comfortably be heard without having to raise their voices. Seriously. I mean, I'm totally having a flashback to Footloose like no other. I might get mad and go dance it out.
While you smoke and drink a beer.
There are no occupancy limits, but tables must be spaced 6 feet apart. And it's going to be strictly enforced with the help of the ABC board, and they are no one to mess with. Since
you learned that in LA? Did you ever have any kind of trouble?
No. No, I mean, I had to do it in Tuscaloosa too, so the Alabama ABC board. But no, I mean, if you're in the industry, you know about the ABC board. And you don't want to be caught doing anything like serving underage or not checking IDs or not sitting 6 feet apart or not wearing masks now. The rules have changed. They've just extended. You've got a lot more. So the CDC, we have talked about recommending that we hold off on trick-or-treating and Halloween parties this year. Have you driven by the Halloween spirit shop? I haven't many times because I don't leave my house, but I just kind of, I wouldn't say giggle, just go, oh, man. That was my favorite shop.
Where was it?
In October. It's right there. It pops up every October next to at Ridgeway and the Target right there and Best Buy.
Oh, okay.
REI's over there.
Right. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen it in my life.
What?
I promise. I don't really go, I don't go in that Target near as much as you do, but you live in that direction. I live the opposite direction.
True. But where do you get your Halloween costumes when we all get, oh, I have to buy them. That's right. I have to do it. You don't go out there. So the guy over at the Halloween spirit shop, you know what I'm talking about. It shows up every October. He hasn't given up. He's full of ideas. He's got a whole warehouse full of costumes. Here he is.
Hey, with the CDC coming out against trick-or-treating and people sitting Halloween out this year, I want you to know the Spirit of Halloween shops have tons of discounted inventory for your other holidays. Nobody coming to your Thanksgiving dinner this year? Try these decorative skeletons as seat fillers. We're bringing the new year with these weird giant spider decorations. Hey, look at all these. Dress up as the Grim Reaper and say goodbye, 2020. Finally, how about taking your Christmas picture early? But the kids are dressed as minions, mom's a sexy cat, and Disco Guy Dad. Why not? Make it fun. Santa's been overdone. So come in now to the Spirit of Halloween store. What am I going to do with all these Tiger King costumes?
I can only imagine how many Tiger King costumes they have.
And Carol Baskin.
Oh, yeah.
All of her crazy outfits.
Coming up next, your chance at Malcolm movie passes and the Hobie kayak from S.Y. Wilson with your morning wood.
And various varmints are crashing into houses, including a nest of bees while a lady was sleeping.
Dun, 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 dun.
I woke up to a crashing.
Denver with the ball. Under 4 minutes. Fitzpatrick.
Coming up next, the Miami Dolphins down the Jaguars 31-13 last night in Jacksonville. Miami did the whole damn story. Coming up next, the underdog Dolphins down the Jaguars in Thursday Night Football. That's coming up in your sports shorts. Where did you go? And in downtown Memphis last night, a celebration. And in your sports shorts. In your sports shorts.
Today.
Here we go.
This is Danny in the Jar, 98.1.
The Max.
To the surprise of one Virginia family, a turkey came crashing through their bathroom window recently. The residents heard the sound of the turkey moving through their home and called the police. Animal services were able to get the turkey safely out of the house. I mean, it's almost Thanksgiving. Why are you calling the cops?
I didn't think turkeys could fly.
As God is my witness. And an Alabama woman was stung at least 15 times after a tree containing a nest of bees crashed onto her house while she was asleep. She woke up to the crashing noise and saw a tree branch right in her bed. She was trapped by a board when the nest of bees attacked her.
I woke up to a crashing noise. I opened my eyes, and to the right of me was a tree branch in the room. And to the left, I had a board going across my chest, one going across my legs. I was stung at least 15 to 20 times by bees, and they were getting in my ears, and I was trying to swat them and kill them with my hands.
1 or 2 inches one way or the other. Could have been impaled, could have been crushed.
That had to be a bad rush.
Yeah, we've got this huge beehive in this tree up here outside in my backyard. I mean, it's huge. It's really high, but it's not in use anymore. But it's amazing looking, the detail on it.
What about your raccoon friend? He been around lately?
I haven't seen any other. Well, it's been raining, so I think they're all cozied up in their little houses or in my kids' playhouse outside. Playing house. It's funny. The mom raccoon's got a little apron on, and the kids are all snuggled in their bed. Dad comes out hunting for food. It's a cute little scene.
And what about the crows that sit at the window pane right by you?
I haven't seen them too much lately.
I guess the rain could also be a factor. Because sometimes you can hear them all the way on your microphone.
Yeah, I like the rain. Keeps all the critters away.
And how's Willie today?
I have not seen him. He's not gotten out of the bed.
Lucky Willie.
Get up. It's your Morning Wood with Danny and the Jock on 98.1 The Max.
Which Morning Wood headline is the actual headline for today? Would a town hall meeting get raided by a stampede of cows while discussing the county cow auction?
Would a man walking in the middle of the street naked carrying a life-size cross claim to be Lucifer?
Would a man sue a fast food chain for being injured by a chicken nugget? 535-9898. Which Morning Wood headline is the actual headline? And you will win Malco movie passes as well as qualify for that Hobie kayak from S.Y. Wilson. Good luck.
Hey, the Max, who's this?
Rebecca,
Hey, Rebecca, where are you calling from?
South Haven.
Ooh, I need a song for South Haven. Don't have one.
Well, that's all right, but I love your one from Bartlett. Would you do it?
Well, sure. BAVARBARTLETT Bartlett. Panthers go. 5 winning. All right, girl. Which Morning Wood is the actual headline for today? Would a town hall meeting get raided by a stampede of cows while discussing the county cow auction? Would a man walking in the middle of the street naked, carrying a life-size cross, claim to be Lucifer? Or would a man sue a fast food chain for being injured by a chicken nugget?
I really have to think it's the one about the chicken nuggets.
Girl, you got yourself some Morning Wood. Morning Wood.
Morning Wood on Friday.
Friday what?
Friday, bitches.
Woo! You're going to a Malco movie. You got 2 passes, and you are qualified for that Hobie kayak thanks to S.Y. Wilson with our 98 Days of Outdoors from Avery Outdoors Superstore and 98.1 The Max. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
All right, hang on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
No, I didn't put her on hold.
You put it on hold?
No. I hung up on her. But what were you wanting?
Nothing.
Oh. I tried to hit hold and hit drop. Same time.
Ba, 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 ba. All right. How is that happening? 49.73. Oh, it's yesterday. That's why. Right? No. 49.72. Why are you not in my downloads? There you are. Has she called back?
We're gonna have to go through everybody.
What did I just do?
Sorry.
God, it's amazing. It amazes me every day how many downloads before 8 a.m. are already in there. Morning Wood on Friday. She's hilarious. Hey, Jar.
Yeah.
She ends with "Thank you, guys." You could just say, "You're welcome." Now call us back.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just gonna stop with the duel. I'm stopping with the duel, and it can go Monday. We're gonna have to figure out a schedule because there's just no way we're gonna survive if we don't. We're gonna have to record one day, edit the next.
Okay.
Because unless we just want to ruin this whole show for one segment, I'm going to be totally stressed out with it, and there's no reason for that.
Oh, I got you. And I'm trying to do what you ask. Also in the emails, like this late night thing that you look up and you don't have time. I'm like, come on, man.
I mean, I can't even think of how do I send this to Teams. I'm like,
what stinks in this room?
you.
No,
You.
I took one today. Yeah.
All right, you got it.
Come on. Mother of God. Oh, here we go.
Get up. It's your morning wood with Danny and the Job on 98.1 The Max.
Hey, the Max, who's this?
Rebecca,
Hey, Rebecca, where you calling from?
South Haven.
Ooh, I need a song for South Haven. Don't have one.
Well, that's all right, but I love your one for Bartlett. Would you do it?
Well, sure. BABARBARDLETT Bartlett. Panthers.
Yeah, I love
it. Win.
Phenomenal.
All right, girl. Which morning wood is the actual headline for today? Would a town hall meeting get raided by a stampede of cows while discussing the county cow auction? Would a man walking in the middle of the street naked?
What was her name again?
I didn't. That's why I threw my hands up.
Gotcha.
Food chain for being injured by a chicken nugget.
I really have to think it's the one about the chicken nuggets.
Here, I can. Girl, you got yourself some morning wood. Morning wood.
Morning wood on Friday.
Friday what?
Friday, bitches.
Woo-hoo! You're going to a Malco movie. You got 2 passes, and you are qualified for that Hobie kayak thanks to S.Y. Wilson with our 98 Days of Outdoors from Avery Outdoors Superstore and 98.1 The Max. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rebecca. And please call me back. I hit hold and drop at the same time, and we'll get your information for those Malco passes. And hopefully that Hobie kayak. A South Florida man is suing McDonald's for $1.1 million and a recall of all McNuggets. According to the lawsuit, the man cracked a tooth in 2 places when he bit into said McNugget containing a nearly 1-inch bone. Claims that McDonald's failed to use ingredients safe for human consumption, and they should be recalled to avoid massive consumer injuries. And of course, McDonald's has come out saying they provide safe, high-quality food, and it's always priority. Always trying to find a way to get a lawsuit, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what I. I would just go, oh man, that sucks. Spit it out and move on.
Right.
I ain't got time to be sitting here calling lawyers, figuring out what I could get. How many nuggets did you have? Do you have your receipt?
Well, you make a good point. Because if you call that lawyer, guess what else you have to do? You got to pay that lawyer.
Right.
I mean, and you got to meet, you got to do a bunch of phone calls. And like you said, I ain't got time. Just enjoy your nuggets and move on. Coming up, the underdog Dolphins down the Jaguars in Thursday night football. And your headlines. Here's a preview of that.
It's Danny and the Jar.
98.1 The Max.
All right, give me 1 second.
You got caught committing. Admit it, Robert Kraft. You got caught committing a Danny in the Jar.
The time has been announced, Miss Danny Bruns. Are you an Amazon Prime girl?
Danny and the Jar.
98.1 The Max.
Sometimes you think you see it all, and then you get a story like this.
Dear Lord.
Michael Jackson's
Hey, the Max, who's this?
This is David.
Hey, David, what can we do for you?
Man, you know where I believe it's Millington, where you go and you shoot the zombies with a paintball gun?
I have no idea.
They are putting one in at Elvis Presley and South Parkway at the old Casey Motel that's been abandoned right beside the cemetery. How long do you think before, I give it a week, that someone actually shoots a zombie
Yeah.
with a real gun?
Yeah, you're right about that. That is scary.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate it. And we'll investigate it, man. Thanks.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Hey, the Max, who's this?
Yes, this is Scotty Coca. It's just letting y'all know we really don't care for this Queen song. We'd rather hear some Shine Down and some Eyes of the Confessor and some Foo Fighters.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Yeah, we don't like David Bowie. David Bowie and Queen, y'all wear it out. We're sick of it.
We don't play David Bowie.
Man, y'all play David Bowie 5 times a day. I listen to y'all while I hang sheetrock every day.
And you've heard David Bowie 5 times a day.
Yeah. And we're sick of it.
All right, buddy.
All right, y'all have a great day.
You too.
You're listening to Danny and the Jar
On 98.1 The Max.
Jar, we've talked a lot about Halloween. Are we going to go trick-or-treating? I know you're not because you don't.
You open up your email and get the 823 teas.
I don't have any email. Oh.
Do you want to read the Robert Kraft story?
Oh, I don't care. I just thought it was hilarious.
I know, but I want you to do it.
Where is it? I can't go from 808 to 823.
Huh?
I mean, I can't look at two different things at once. It's either the rundown or it's an email. Which one is it?
I'll do the Robert Kraft then.
Yeah, I can't get the T's there. You have to do the T's. Let's see how much time in my day. I'm going to give up on portfolio today.
Sports Shorts, the shortest season for every sport in the shortest amount of time, with Danny and the Jar on 98.1 The Max.
The Miami Dolphins down the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-13 last night, being a 7-point underdog in Jacksonville.
Fitzpatrick throws for the touchdown. First and goal. Howard takes it upfield and in for the touchdown. Hand off here to Robinson for the touchdown. Pass is caught. Touchdown, Gesicki.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to run the quarterback draw.
And he does for the touchdown. Full head of steam, touchdown. James Robinson. Minshew is picked. Intercepted by Howard.
Man, they came out and just put the pedal to the metal and never really slowed down. LA Lakers beat the Denver Nuggets last night to take 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals.
Denver with the ball. Under 4 minutes to go. Murray all the way on James. Hangs and can't finish. Excellent defense by LeBron. Rondo controls it. There's James with the layup. Running the floor and is rewarded.
This puts the Lakers 1 win away from reaching the NBA final for the first time in a decade. I'm sure that was with Kobe and Pau Gasol. And wow, here's a surprise. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft had all of his solicitation charges dropped in Asian spa fiasco in Jupiter, Florida last year. They cited lack of evidence since the video won't be admitted into court. Looks like he got off again. You got to hand it to him, Danny.
What a relief.
Okay, we'll stop.
Admit it, Robert Kraft. You got caught committing a sex act. But because you're rich and you own the Pats, you didn't even get your wrist slapped.
Get him to the bridge. Come on.
Dirty boy, got a rub and tug at the Asian joint. The ending I'm sure you enjoyed. Both for you and lawyers you employ. Come on, girl.
He won't be charged with
I'll
it.
lay on my back.
He'll get away with
I'm a
it.
VIP.
Attorneys take care
Heard
of
of
it.
Tom Brady?
For the rich, it's different.
Let's see what you're working
He
with.
won't be charged with
You
it.
work for tips.
He'll get away with
That
it.
makes me smile.
Attorneys take care
Like
of
6
it.
Super Bowl
For the
titles.
rich, it's different.
Get your rubbing
He won't
on.
be charged with it.
Get your rubbing on.
He'll get away with it.
Get your rubbing
Attorneys
on.
take care of it.
Get your rubbing on. You did it, Robert Kraft. You're nearly 80. You should take a nap. You're lucky could have had a heart attack. Imagine what if your grandpa did that. Gross.
Gross.
Get your rubbing on.
The carpenter hates when I say that. I say everything's gross. 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 What's not gross? Concerts. Remember those? We have a concert, a real life in-person concert announcement coming up in less than 1 hour. And coming up next, the good, the bad, the ugly. A mom gets tased at a middle school football game for not wearing a mask, and the audio is pretty incredible, maybe frightening. That's next.
Have you watched the video?
No.
Excessive is not the word. Gosh damn it, I'm sick of this yellow crap.
Oh, so highlight it and then go to the bottom and go to the right all the way. You'll see a grid that says insert table. The one next to that says remove formatting.
Now it won't let me highlight it.
Go ahead, be gone with it. VIP, drinks on me. Did what's her name ever call back?
Yeah, no, she text. Say it again.
I go to the all right, you see all those things. You see the paintbrush at the bottom. You see send. Look right up above send. The paintbrush.
When I right click,
No, at the bottom of your email. There's send. There's discard. There's a paperclip. There's a smiley face. I can't help you then.
yeah, I'm just gonna go.
Do you see the toolbar on the bottom of your email?
Well, how's that gonna affect?
Do you see the toolbar? With all your options, your font size, bold, italics, highlight. Do you see your toolbar? Do you see the big blue box that says send?
No. I'm just talking about on the rundown. Here, I'll do it later.
Are you on Word or are you in an email?
I'm on Word.
Oh, well, then I'm not looking at Word. I don't have Word on this computer. But if you highlight it, just find the format button. Remove formatting. Oh my God, you piece of... What? Hello? Hello? You wanna go after this?
Yes. Yeah. I can't find two more goddamn stories. Where are we? TikTok donates.
Oh my God.
What?
just, if you just knew, I mean, if this person keeps asking what's the problem with this portfolio and doesn't realize that they are, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much time I've wasted this week on this.
Here we go.
Good times with Danny and the Jar. On 98.1 The Max.
An 89-year-old guy in Utah named Derlin Newey lives alone and couldn't pay his bills. So he's been delivering pizzas for Papa John's. At 89, the couple he delivers to didn't like him working so much, so they asked their 60,000 TikTok followers to donate 50 cents to help him out, and he got a $12,000 tip. Here they are.
I work about 30 hours a week.
Somebody at that age should not be working that much. Together as a community, we all were donating 50 cents to $1 for you. And collectively, because there was thousands of people that loved you, we collected over $12,000 for you.
That's all yours.
All yours.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No, how come? Why would you do such a thing?
They love you, so they wanted to give you a present.
How do I ever say thank you? I don't know what to say.
Now, as much as we like to make fun of people who video themselves doing good things, that is a great thing because you have an 89-year-old man still working because he can't pay his bills, and that should not be the American way. However, you've got 29-year-olds out there bitching and complaining and burning stuff down because, well, they don't want to work.
And these people that helped him, you know, they did a little work to raise some of that money instead of like the last one we had where they filmed themselves giving their delivery guy $500 compared to $12,000.
Well, it wasn't just them. I mean,
That's
everybody gave 50 cents.
They got to work and, you know, did some
Right.
work on it instead of just opening up the door and filming themselves.
So, you know, you have a great point there. They did not film themselves necessarily to pat themselves on the back, but to show the 6,000 people who donated to help that. To show.
Yeah.
And wow, it just this to me is incredible. Make sure you watch the video because I think it will really explain the take on this. A mom at a middle school football game in Ohio wouldn't wear a mask in the stands and got arrested. A cop ended up tasing her when she wouldn't stop resisting. She was technically arrested for trespassing because she refused to leave. Here is the audio from the incident.
Put your hand behind your back. I will not put my hand behind my back. You're not arresting me for nothing. I am doing nothing wrong.
This is over a mask. Chase somebody over a mask.
And the guy filming goes, I thought at first it was just a warning, then a $500 fine, and then you get arrested. This lady has a death grip on this aluminum row in the football field, and she's sitting by herself is what the problem I have. But I mean, excessive.
I didn't see her around by herself. I saw the other people that were trying to help her. You broke the law. It's a mandate. You can't have it both ways. A cop is trying to handcuff you. Which way is it? You get handcuffed. You're not following the rules.
Mm-hmm. You can say, yeah, people can see it that way, but everybody in the stands was like, but I agree. If a cop asks you to get up and move
And leave, you need to leave.
Right.
And she refuses arrest.
And right.
So-
and you can deal with that later.
You cannot refuse arrest from a police officer. Guess what, lady? You're breaking the rules. It's a mask mandate in your state. And your thigh tattoo's hot too.
It's just like I've been pulled over a couple of times, and I immediately give my license and registration and insurance, and I don't say a word. And there's been about 2 or 3 times where they walk back, they go, "Jarman, why didn't you tell us who you were?" And I was like, because rule number 1, don't say a word. Yes, sir, no, sir. And you might get out of it, even if you're not on the radio. Thank you.
Right. But I love the double standard here. You got one side just sitting there going, I mean, he was just reaching in his car for a knife to stab a police officer. Why? He should have never been shot. And they're like, oh, she should have been shot and not tased for not wearing a mask. No, they both resisted arrest. Police officers have the right to make sure you follow the law.
Yep. Speaking of being arrested, coming up, we'll talk Halloween with our friend Country Corey Wiggs next. That's why.
Yep. S.Y. Wilson, the official outfitters of Danny and the Jar, where they've got that Hobie Quest 13 kayak that we're giving away today with the 98 Days of Outdoors. Make sure you check out all of their paddle kayaks, and they're their exclusive dealer for Hobie, as well as a new Dark Seas apparel exclusive dealer in Memphis at S.Y. Wilson. They've got their end of the summer sales event still going on through the end of the month, September 30th, with new duck calls from Banyan Waterfowl out of Millington. Check them out at S.Y. Wilson.
And also check out the cake bike at ridecake.com, a street legal bike, top speed 65 miles an hour with a 54-mile radius, hybrid overland bike, never needs gas, fully electric. And they have new Jetty shirts, hundreds of new name brand hats and shirts, and Rio sunglasses at S.Y. Wilson, 120 Walker Street in Arlington by the depot. It's S.Y. Wilson. They have you covered from the trail to the cocktail. Hey, you off the phone?
Not yet.
Hey, look at the screen real quick. You want to move Diamond Eyes to 9?
Yes.
Okay. Don't worry about that, Chase.
Okay. We got to add that other song too.
Hang on, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Let's go send. We don't have a run log. Dude, do you see that? Oh my God. I'm going to lose my mind before the end of the day. Coming up next, that concert announcement we have been promising you. And in downtown Memphis last night. Promising you.
Today's headlines are brought. You're listening. Casino Tunica. You're listening to Danny and the Jar.
On 98.1, The Max.
Don't worry, I caught it.
Caught what?
When it's red, it means it has an end date on it. It was end dated yesterday.
Oh. Thank you. All right. I still need 2 more stories.
Hello. Do you have the concert announcement? Hello?
Yeah, in the email.
I need a rundown. I got nothing.
Can I use the Tom Cruise even though we're not doing the game?
Yeah. Oh my God. Might as well let the dog in and clean up my mess. One or two down there, buddy. I dropped them. I'm blind as a bat. Good morning, Todd Poole, Chris Armstrong, Craig Sally, Anna Powers.
Hey, the Max, who's this?
Rebecca.
You done with that?
Hey, can you do me a huge favor and put Sweet Deal in while I paste all this real quick?
Where is it?
It's one I used a few weeks ago.
Who is it? What is it? What is it under?
117 Steakhouse.
What would you have it labeled as?
Hang on. Sweet Deal. Thank you. Oh, wait. Are we doing that right at 9 or 9:08? Because I'm
9:08.
Okay. Well, that'll be our 9:08 break. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where does 923 go? Here or is it up here?
There.
This one?
Yes. Or yes.
That's our second break of the
Yes.
9 o'clock hour.
Mm-hmm. And then Steve.
908. Okay. So.
And I'm such a dumbass. I knew that song when they played it at the drive-in. I was like, how do I know that song?
I heard you say that yesterday because it was coming up on the Nooner, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that girl did it.
What girl? It's a guy. It's band, boy band.
Oh. I want to apologize for not knowing that. How do you pronounce it?
Goit? I don't know. Goatee?
I was about to say goatee.
Goatee?
Hey, that Korean boy band? Oh, no, it's one guy. He's Belgian. Yeah. His name is Wouter de Bakker, but they call him Wally. I'm going. Okay.
You can put something in between this?
Danny and the Jar. 98.1 The Max.
Get these chips out of here. Snacks on my desk isn't a good thing.
Oh, that's going to go perfect with our next one.
What? God, I'm freezing.
Snacks on Danny's desk.
Oh.
Out in Berkeley, they are not allowing candy and potato chips in the big grocery stores. They want fresh fruit to be there instead.
Oh.
Okay.
Don't come to my desk. Speaking of candy.
Matter zinc.
Let's get some. I have not eaten my vitamins for today now. Let's get some licorice out.
Oh, come on, Dad, come on.
Ba, 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 ba.
If you look at the bottom of their rundown, I sent it to you, by the way.
I got.
Look what I found for Steve, kiddingly.
Yeah, I'll let you handle them today. I got nothing. Bye, 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 bye.
Oh,
No, it may sound crazy. Bye, 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 bye.
please let this out.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Just have for about the last 3 hours for the first time. LA wants audio. We got audio.
Baby, bye, 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 bye. Ooh, a new Five Finger Death Punch acoustic album.
Wow, man. They're just going panda. Here we go.
You're on Danny and the Jar.
98.1 The Max.
That sounded pretty cool. About this time of day is when you start hearing our little mascot, One-Eyed Willie, in the background moaning, because sometimes Danny goes and gets some food or she gets some snacks. And today she was having a few too many potato chips. And she goes, we got to get these off the desk. Well, pretty soon you won't be able to do that in the grocery store either. Out in Berkeley, starting in March, they're going to become the first city in the U.S. to ban big grocery stores from selling candy and junk food in checkout aisles. The ordinance calls for fresh fruit to be there instead. The move will affect stores including Whole Foods, CVS, Walgreens, and Safeway in Berkeley. I miss Safeway. Candy and junk food can still be sold in other parts of the stores. That's one thing about the drugstores, and they're always, when you leave, they're like, be well. I was like, okay, after I trip over this display of Pringles.
Yeah, I'll take a carton of Marlboro Lights and some White Claw. Be well.
Yeah,
I'm about to be real well.
I guarantee you
that. I have grabbed a banana standing in line at the gas station. I've done it quite a few times.
Now, those are convenient because they're not really a mess. But like an orange, even an apple can get all juicy and stuff, and it makes a mess. But, you know, that's California for you. And speaking of somebody who's going out of space again, where he came from.
That's who his Lord is. That's right.
Yeah.
Lord is an alien. That's right.
Now, Tom Cruise is allegedly going to take a SpaceX flight out in space because he wants to film either a whole movie or part of a movie in space. Really in space, not on a Hollywood screen or, you know, whatever they call those effects. Well, a morning TV news anchor in Orlando dropped several of Tom's movie titles while talking about said trip.
Tom Cruise will head to the ISS on a SpaceX rocket to film his next movie. He is a legend and far and away one of our most successful actors. SpaceX is an American-made company with a few good men like Elon Musk. Space is a risky business, but SpaceX has made all the right moves. It won't be a mission impossible, not when you have the collateral of Tom Cruise. Unless you've been living in oblivion or have gone through life with your eyes wide shut, you know Cruise and Musk both know the color of money. Personally, I look forward to next fall where I'll have a cocktail in hand, watching the launch on the Space Coast. I just hope the weather holds and there are no days of thunder and it doesn't rain, man.
Now,
I think it's awesome.
You and your father have done some good pun duels, but I wonder how long he worked on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he just took all the movie titles and made a story out of it. I liked it.
It was fantastic. Hopefully we're going to have your dad on Monday for a Danny and Dad duel of puns. But coming up here next, a major concert announcement, Miss Danny Burns, or just a simple concert announcement?
I'd say it's major because it's the first one in 8 months.
If that's where we are, I can't even count back to March. We'll tell you who it is coming up next. Clear.
I think I need a sweater. Can I wear a sweater over my suit coat that's over my white shirt and tie?
Always, when you wear it, I always think you're wearing a Superman shirt.
Oh,
because
I
the
see.
tie looks like you're bursting your shirt open.
It's my Angus Young uniform. I'll be right.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand up.
All right, look where we have that. So we don't have two songs. We're going.
No, I know. I'm not leaving the room. I'm just standing up.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go get some ice.
This is as close as I could find. What?
I just realized who emailed you about the concert announcement because he texted me. I'm sure whenever he called it, but yeah, because I didn't give him your phone number. I gave him your email.
I can't get my breath. COVID.
Huh?
Nothing.
Now is that a real suit jacket?
No, it's a leather jacket,
Oh,
80s style.
I thought you did it on purpose.
I did.
No, to look like a
Yeah.
yeah.
Tried to match it a little bit. There we go. Look like I have a suit on now. Still looks like Superman. Hate myself for love. Have you heard that intro to Pretty Reckless? It's pretty amazing. I guess we're gonna just make the announcement and roll, right?
Yeah, sure. About the announcement and roll.
Some people need to realize that this this 3D picture option on Facebook isn't for everybody.
That's real nice. Real nice.
Have you ever thought I was nice?
No. Especially when it comes to the social network.
Oh, this one's funny. Look at this. No, you can't see that, can you? It's a kid mowing the lawn. It says GoFundMe in 1989.
Ha! That is awesome.
I swear that's a picture of my brother and I, but it's not. You think you're stressed. You think you know stress. When I grew up, if you missed a TV show, you just missed it forever.
I think that's why some of those, $6 million man and Starsky and Hutch and Combined Man. I'm like, I remember that.
What about this? When I was a kid, I thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger problem than it is.
I avoided water holes like a son of a bitch. I don't care if we're online or not.
Oh my God.
Because that did happen, like in Bionic Man and stuff like that.
The 3 stages of life: relating to Ferris, relating to Cameron, then relating to Rooney. I'm old enough to remember the very first TED Talk. It was most excellent. And it's a picture of Bill and Ted. I'm so old, I can remember going through a whole day without taking a picture of anything. Oh, concert.
There we go.
This is Danny in the Jar, 98.1
The Max.
We've been telling you all day we have a big concert announcement right now. The first concert in 8 months, live and in person at the Malco Summer Drive-In. They will be there. You will be there. It's not Smith and Nephew. It's not Smith and Wesson. But 98.1 The Max presents Smith and Myers of Shinedown, live and in person, October 21st, Malco Summer Drive-In. Tickets go on sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at Tix at smithandmyersmusic.com.
That's pretty cool. Remember your jumper cables, though.
Remember your jumper cables, and it will be awesome to have people actually playing music in front of us live. So thank you very much, Zach Myers and Brent Smith. Is that right?
Yep.
Of Shinedown. We'll see you at Malco Movie Theater, and we'll have tickets for you next week. All week, be listening to win for the Summer Drive-In with Smith and Myers of Shinedown with 98.1 The Max. It's Diamond Eyes.
Oh.
What?
I forget that you can't hear. I started it and I was like, oh no.
I hit the post.
I know, but
I got a countdown right here. I can see it.
I know,
hear
but I was like, oh no.
I'm a magician again. I can see the audio. I just can't hear it.
You did the first time you did it, you didn't even look over. And you go and you looked and it just started. Did I just hit that post without even listening? Yes. You're a magician.
Hate myself for loving you. Yes. Hello.
Okay, is it got ye or go?
Where are we after that? How are we right on time? Oh, because we haven't talked between those two. Mail. Don't need that. Don't need that. Yes, I do. Don't need that. I don't need that.
Okay, Danny, it's
What?
okay. On the audio part, you have GOYTE, but it is GOT. Got ye? I don't.
Got ye? Go. I don't know.
It'd be different if you had 1,000 songs.
That's why he's the best one-hit wonder. We don't even know how to say his name.
Right.
Goatee? Could it be goatee?
Go tie. Go tie. You say potato. I say potato. Let's call the whole thing.
What is it? GOTYE?
Yeah, GOTYE.
Gautier. 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 Did you hear him?
Yeah.
Gautier.
Come on, Delicious Audio. Are y'all loud enough today? Where's Bruce? Hello, Bruce. Calling Bruce Springsteen. I've called you a lot over the last few years. Where are you?
I mean, what you already got for him is hysterical for Gorman.
But I really don't agree with him because how many times have we gone? Well, I guess indoors is a lot different than outdoors. But how many times have you gone into one of those tents and they have soup? And
I think that's why he said he put it on the rider. That's one thing he did put.
Okay.
He's like, because you can't really mess that up.
Yeah, because that radiothon, I had some type of soup, and I was which way did it go? Which way did it go?
Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did you go? Where did you go?
Get your rubbing on. Yep. Get your rubbing on. Mm. Mm.
Where are we?
It's music time.
It's music class with Danny in the jar.
All right, kids. We ought to get rich to do.
All right, kids.
It's
now.
that time of day for music class.
Gautier. Gautier. Gautier.
You're with Dan on the job.
98.1 The Max.
Jarman, you were telling us a few hours ago how much you get out there and exercise every day. So what do you listen to while you're doing that exercising?
No, I said I used to, and I can't walk without listening to music. But when I lived over here, I oh man, what's our friend from The Voice?
Adam Lambert.
No, he's in Asheville now, played on Beale Street forever.
Patrick Dodd.
Patrick Dodd. I used to listen to that. Wolf Mother, Eminem. It would vary.
Rusty Lemon.
What kind of a musician name is Rusty Lemon? Who makes that up?
Charlie Mars. You didn't listen to Lady Gaga or pop music?
No, man.
You listened to Beyonce a lot back about 10 years ago.
Yeah, but after I saw her in concert, I was done. Sort of like Jay-Z. After I saw him, I was done. Sort of like R. Kelly, who opened up for Jay-Z. He's done.
He's done a lot. Well, Lady Gaga is the most popular artist to work out to. Pop is the most popular genre. Hip-hop fans have the most intense workouts. And Lady Gaga's Born This Way gets you moving, whether you like it or not.
I can't believe that song that she did in the movie is not an exercise song.
Fa la 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 la.
It's funny that though, because ever since we've started mornings, one of our big earworms that we do our work to early is Poker Face.
No clue why.
I know. I'll start walking to the car some mornings and do it.
And I don't even know the lyrics. I don't know why the beat just gets in your head and it makes you move.
All Danny knows is la 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 la
la la la la la. Oh, you know why I got that? No, that's from Sing. The pig does it. La la na na na. Because now that you tell me that that's what I'm doing, you are correct. Now, what I think is funny is I thought the other one I always sang was Stranglehold, and you're like, no, it's Smoke on the Water.
Right.
Dun. I can't do
it. I know they're both animated, but are Sing and Trolls worth the time to watch?
No.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. Bruce, the boss, he is on it. We played his title track from his new album, Letters to You, a couple weeks ago, and now he's got another new single from the same album. This will be released October 23rd. It's his 20th studio album. This new single is called Ghosts.
It's funny. An unnamed festival did a virtual thing, and Bon Jovi's voice has changed a little bit, and I think it's changed to sound more and more like Bruce. He wants to be the boss so bad.
Doesn't everybody?
No.
Today is One Hit Wonder Day.
Hang on. I wonder if Bruce Springsteen gets as many emails as you do. Because every time I hear your email, I'm like, nope.
I was looking for an email from last week, and it was unbelievable. I was like, I have at least well over 100 a day. Today is One Hit Wonder Day, and this really took me by surprise. What is the biggest one hit wonder to you? I always think of, Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine. Don't you?
You mean this?
That to me is the biggest one of all time.
Well, I would say, Girl, You Know It's True, but go ahead.
Milli Vanilli had a lot more hits than that song. They had Blame It on the Rain. They had Don't You Lose My Number, and a few more. Okay, so no, not one hit wonder with Milli. But I would not have guessed this to be the top selling one hit wonder of all time. It's and somebody that I used to know by Gautier.
That's what the computer said.
Gautier. It's number one, top selling one hit wonder. And I've always loved that song. I just like it a lot.
And my theory is that, you know, we were even talking to a Country Corey about this a couple of days ago when we were talking about the top albums. I think it's because you can get access to that so fast now compared to back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. All you got to do now is just go download it and you've got it.
You mean that you think that's why it's the top selling one-hit wonder?
Right.
Well, I figured out now after learning that today why so many bands are covering songs, because we've been playing on the Nooner with Ross for the last few weeks the new 3 Days Grace song.
Mm-hmm.
And they covered this song, and I thought it was kind of strange. I mean, I love the song, but I was like, I wonder how they picked that. Well, wouldn't you pick that too if it was a top selling one-hit wonder?
When we were at the Malco Drive-In, 3 Days Grace opened up for them, and they played that. I was like, I didn't know they did that song. I know this song. I didn't know they did this song.
Yeah, but if somebody else is making, you know, some cash off it, why not you too? Here it is, 3 Days Grace. Somebody I used to know, somebody you all know, Steve Gorman from Steve Gorman Rocks. Weeknights, 7 to midnight is coming up next.
Yeah, because it sounds so much like the original. I was like, I didn't know they did that. I didn't know that was their song. All right, should we go to 3 Days Grace to Dirty Honey or Sticks? Or I Want to Be Sedated. We can talk Gorman right then.
How many times have you been sedated, Steve? Oh, gosh, he's quick. You're fast.
I'm a professional, I think is the word you're looking for.
Sure, that works. Yes, I think we should go. What would you rather come out of, Steve? Ramones, I Want to Be Sedated, or Nirvana, Lithium? I think I know the answer.
I'd go with Ramones myself.
That's what I figured.
And that's no knock on Nirvana. I'm just saying. I met Joey Ramone once, and it was when Dave Grohl brought him to a Black Crow show. Speaking of the Ramones and Nirvana.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, can the guy do no wrong?
No, he's a total dick. He's perfect.
Who?
Grohl. He makes all of us look bad all the time.
I don't know if you know this, but we have a barbecue fest on the river, like just north of Mud Island, where y'all played a couple of times.
Well, you know, the Memphis in May Music Fest opens it, and the Barbecue Fest kind of closes it.
Like 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, people are like on the social network taking pictures of Dave. He's at he's a friend of one of the guys who was on a team, and he came 2 years in a row, and now is wanting to start a barbecue podcast or something.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough to do.
Well, what gets me with him is just the driving the minivan through the carpool line. I mean, that's always my question with everybody, because your life, no one tells you this when you have kids, that your life as you know it is over.
That's a fact.
And so when our CEO came down, she had just started. And we're a big company. You know, I'm sure you've heard Mary Berner's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we had some time, one-on-one time with her, and she's like, do you have any questions? And that was the first question. I said, how do you do all this with 4 kids? And I'm asking for advice. I need help. And then I think Dave made us realize that rock and roll stars aren't all sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And now you've proven that too. You were just pretty boring old, normal dude with kids.
Well, if you want to, anybody that's in a band, you meet older guys. I mean, this is going to sound like the biggest generalization, but it's unbelievable how many guys from bands in the 60s and 70s you meet, and they tell you stories like, "Oh, I haven't talked to my daughter in 4 years," or whatever it is, and you hear those things, and you're like, "Wait, what?" I mean, I've had a lot of guys from the first round of bands, the bands I grew up worshiping, talk about all the problems they have with their families, and I'm sure everybody's talked to those guys about it, because it's it's incredible to think about. I mean, I get that first in the 60s and 70s, but when at a time when people said cocaine's not addictive and it's just for fun, just as an example of how different everything was back then. It doesn't surprise me that a lot of families weren't never actually really families.
And I'm sure there's plenty more out there, but I do feel like you just said that there's been a shift in that.
Oh, absolutely. It's completely the opposite now. I mean, for every in the old days, it was like a thing like, oh my God, the guy kept his family together. That's amazing. I mean, I remember people talking about different, McCartney and Charlie Watts were two people that always had their families with them, and people thought that was some sort of amazing thing. And now it's the exact opposite. If you meet a guy in a band who's doing really well these days, and they don't have a kind of a stable situation, it's if they have a family but they're not really invested, it's almost a surprise. It's just the the values or the awareness, everything shifted in the last 50 years, obviously pretty considerably in that regard.
Yeah, meet and greets have differed over the years too, because everybody's like, "Hey, man, can I meet the Black Crowes?" And it's not a knock to y'all. It's like, backstage is not what you think it is. It's not like you're going to be hanging out and pouring beers on each other. I was like, we're going to go back there. They're going to come out. You're going to get a picture, maybe get an autograph, and it's done.
No, that's entirely true. It is an absolutely different thing. Well, tours back in the when Zeppelin was touring, they'd come to the States and do 3 weeks. Then they'd go to Europe and do 2 weeks, and then they would get in those days, when this whole thing started, people weren't on the road for 18 straight months. You know what I mean? And then over time, that became the norm, and everybody took when you're doing something just for 2 or 3 weeks, and you're going to go home and recover afterwards, you go pretty hard, and then it just turned into like, let's just do that for 18 straight months, and then you end up in this bizarre world. And then now everybody that's made it through those early years is backstage, stretching and drinking coconut water.
Yeah, or napping with Steve Gorman.
That's exactly right. If you're so lucky.
Or discussing Milwaukee with Alice Cooper.
If you're lucky. Like James Page.
Well, that's what, we always laugh, which I've tried to make this the thing where I didn't realize how many band and concert t-shirts I had. So when we started going on video a few weeks ago, I've tried to wear a different one every day, which you're welcome. I wore one Friday that said Trigger Hippie. And Jarman called me an ass kisser. But yesterday we laugh every time I wear the Jamie Johnson t-shirt, because we were at his concert, and the country station brought him in, and they're like, you want to go meet Jamie Johnson? I was like, no. Like, why don't you want to meet him? I go, what am I going to say to him? Hey, I like your songs, man. And I'd had one too many drinks on top of that, and I was like, I do not want to go meet him. And it's really not that great of a story, except the music director was like, come on, let's walk over here. And I go walk, and we're walking. And all of a sudden he's standing in front of me, and it just pissed me off so bad. Yeah. Like, what does this dude he's a normal dude that just got off stage. The last thing he wants to do is sit here and talk to me. And I have nothing to ask him. So we're going to stand here, and it's going to be very uncomfortable. Hey, man, I like your song.
Well, I think any musician would tell you that they've certainly had things worse than I like your songs.
Exactly why there's not any meet and greets anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here we go. Hey, Danny, just come out of this. Well, you can't hear.
You're doing it.
Yeah, I got you.
You're with Danny and the Jar.
98.1 The Max.
That was the Ramones, and I Want to Be Sedated, a song that was chosen by our night guy, host of the Steve Gorman Show. He is joining us now for this Friday. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just starting my campaign on your show this morning to have I Want to Be Sedated as the national theme song for the year 2020.
I'd have to say that I participated in making that possible.
Oh, really? Well, thank you. On behalf of a tired and literally at wit's end nation, we all thank you.
We talked about that last Friday, actually, that thank God we have you on Fridays, because by Friday we are at our wit's end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
This whole morning show thing, man, you're lucky you got the night show.
Well, you're lucky I got a cat that doesn't care what time it is and gets me up early on Fridays.
Jarman, you pulled something really interesting. I want to know what Steve's opinion is on this.
So what did you say you want to put in your rider? You always put in your rider?
What did I say?
Yeah.
You're real simple. You said that there's one thing.
The most important thing is if you're bringing towels, just wash them before you put them backstage.
And then I asked you, what do you like to eat? We thought you said you had soup.
I'm a big soup guy. I will eat soup if it's made of ingredients I otherwise can't stand. If it's soup, I'm going to try it.
But okay, we thought you might have had it in your rider also.
Never in the rider, but I certainly am persuasive in the moment.
Okay, let's be persuasive. According to Google, here are the top 5 soups for fall of 2020.
Beautiful.
Pumpkin soup.
It's okay, sure. I mean, in a pinch, yeah.
Cheesy potato soup.
Heavier potato than cheese, then I'm all in.
Squash soup.
I would not turn it down with a nice crust of bread next to it. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Cheeseburger soup.
I'm gonna need I can assume that's just what exactly.
Cheeseburger crumbled up in some broth. I don't know.
A pickle that's way overdone.
Yeah. So far, that's the one I would pass on.
Now, I don't even know how to say this. Albondiga soup. Are you familiar with that?
Not as Albondiga. Maybe there's another way of pronouncing it, or maybe there's another name for it. Do you have what's involved in that soup in front of you?
A combination of meatballs made with rice and a light broth with fall vegetables, cilantro, and mint. And it is from Mexico.
I would probably have 2 bowls of it right now. Yeah, that sounds pretty great, actually.
It reminds me of tortilla soup. I love that stuff.
Also, 2 bowls minimum at any time. Yeah.
If you have a sinus infection or a cold, that stuff's great.
Thai soups, a nice Tom Yum guy, a really hot Thai soup when you're a little congested, set you free right there.
Oh, everything. Your nasal, your lungs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's what the beginning of this coronavirus, they told us to do, is drink all hot liquids, and because it would help with your breathing in your throat. I don't know if that's still in the list. It's changed.
Well,
so
we're
much.
entering hot fluid season, for lack of a better term. So, keep them rolling, keep the kettle on, and just keep pouring stuff down your gullet, and let's all get through this together.
Do you make homemade soup?
I do. I have a hang on. You know what? I'm looking at my laptop right now, and there's a soup recipe that's always there. Listen to this ingredient list: 4 slices of bacon, 1 onion, garlic, sun-dried tomatoes, mushrooms, chicken stock, celery root, cooked chicken breast, yellow squash, green beans, Swiss chard, fresh basil, salt and pepper to taste. It's awesome.
I bet it is.
And I was literally not saying this because we're on the air. I looked at that last night and it's like, I got to make that soup again. I'll probably do that this weekend.
and it's one of those things you got to wait till the weekend. That was a lot of ingredients. That looks like a lot of prep.
Yeah, just the chopping alone, it's you're making a bit of a commitment. And I'm still kind of one-armed right now, so it's a lot of left hand. my ambidextry is at its all-time apex right now. So, I think I can make it happen, but it's going to be slower than usual.
Now, what's going on? You had the surgery, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago?
It is, but wow, very impressive. I believe the date was August 18th, and that would put us right between 4 and 5 weeks ago.
And how much longer do you have to, are you going to physical therapy?
Yes, I have 7 weeks before I will be, quote unquote, back to doing whatever I want to do.
Would that be back to drumming? Do you guys see any?
That's a part of it. I don't know if I'll be drumming with any other humans around, but I can at least walk out to the back studio and sit down at a drum kit and actually make noise and not wonder if my arm's going to hurt. So that's I'm looking forward to that. Baby steps, man. Baby steps.
We're talking with Steve Gorman, the host of the Steve Gorman Show at night. We just announced that 2 members of Shinedown, Zach Myers and Brent Smith, are going to play at our drive-in here. Have y'all had any ideas of playing again soon? Or
well, we're actually this week. There's a series of gigs that are happening in venues all across Nashville for streaming purposes, not with a live audience.
Right.
And Trigger Hippie will be, I believe it's Monday the 28th. You'll be able to watch Trigger Hippie play a show at the Basement. And I will be with a right hard cast on one arm, just playing kick and snare and a little bit of hi-hat here and there. We're going to see if we can actually pull off a gig with a one-armed guy. But that's just a part of a series of shows helping to hopefully raise money to keep a lot of the independent venues afloat. And but beyond that, nothing right now. I mean, this arm thing has really sort of put any ideas about maybe we can get to a drive-in show, or maybe we can do any number of things on ice, because there's really no point in getting together and trying to play if there's not a drummer.
And Jarman's not much of a kick drum kind of guy, but that is one of our biggest inside jokes. Steve, have you seen the breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston?
I have not.
Believe it or not, it's one of the funniest movies, just with certain scenes in it. And the kick drum comes up in conversation quite often. And speaking of drummers, Lars is the drummer, right?
Of Metallica? Yes. I mean, he's a drummer.
Let's tease that, Danny.
I would go with the indefinite article A, and then if you're going to speak about specifically Metallica, then go with definite article V. Yes.
Well, your partner in crime at night on Steve Gorman Rocks, April Rose, was on with us Tuesday and says that you need to tell us this Lars story. I think it was at an airport. Will you do that for us next?
Oh, sure. I'm just glad I know what she's talking about. Yes, I can tell that story. I thought I was going to have to make something up.
We'll be right back. Steve Gorman. It's 98.1 The Max.
Clear.
Yeah, it was funny. We kind of, I don't want to say, it was kind of got us in the role of talking to April, and Jarman just spit out, what's your favorite Steve story?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I don't know. She just said, this is one about Lars, but I'm not going to tell it. He's got to tell it. So it was a great tease. We said coming up Friday.
Well, this isn't the one I'll tell, but I was talking with Pete Angelus, who managed the Black Crowes the other day, and something, long story short, I don't remember how we got on it, but there was a night on that tour. It was the Monsters of Rock tour in 1991 in Europe. It was AC/DC and Metallica and Motley Crue and Queensryche and the Black Crowes. And we had a night off. We were in Dortmund, Germany at the hotel, and a bunch of the bands are all there. And we're sitting at the hotel bar. It's me and Pete, and Lars comes over and sits with us. And this is right when the Black Album was released, like literally the month that the Black Album came out. So they were right at the precipice of becoming the biggest band in the world. And Lars was, as he was wont to do at that time, was gloating about the production and the tour and the stage and the lights and how this is going to be the coolest tour anyone's ever seen, and going on and on and on while drinking vodka and Diet Coke, which I've still found unforgivable all these years later. And at some point he looked at Pete, who had, Pete started off as Van Halen's lighting director and designer and ended up managing them. But he was always, and Pete is like a legendary lighting guy from the early 80s. He kind of invented 80s arena rock lighting. And Lars was going, Pete, you won't believe it. You got to see the show. You're going to freak out. You'll never guess the nut. You'll never guess the weekly nut. You'll never believe. And Pete said, well, what kind of trusses are we talking about? And Lars was giving him as much technical information as he knew about the production. And Lars literally spent 10 minutes talking it up and saying, you'll never guess, man. It's the most expensive production anyone's ever toured with in an arena. It's going to blah, 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 blah. And he goes, take a guess, Pete. Take a guess. And Pete sat there for a minute. He goes, I'm going to say it's got to be at least 250 grand. I'm going to say $300,000 a week is your nut. And Lars literally just looked at him like a little kid and went, who told you? Just lost. And it took away all of his momentum. And I mean, that's, it was just one of those things where I was like, man, he's a little wound up over there. It was good stuff. But that's not the story I'm going to tell you. This one's a lot funnier.
This one in Russia with Hatfield?
It's on the way to Russia.
Okay, that's what she teased.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lars is always, I'm like, dude, you're a drummer, but he always tries to sound so smart, And
so you're saying drummers aren't smart? I'm just kidding.
He's I will say that he is certainly tamped down all of those things over the years. He's a pretty. I haven't seen him in a while, but everybody I know, we have a lot of mutual friends, and just in following them as much as or as little as I do, I can tell, like everybody else, he did finally grow up. But man, he was hard to be around in the early 90s.
Yeah, and then I told everybody, I was like, well, then he married a brain surgeon, so I guess he got a little smarter.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean drummer in a bad way. You're one of the most intellectual musicians I've ever heard in my life.
No, I get it. I mean, he's there's definitely a thing, and there is a drummer thing that I have seen in a lot of my drumming brethren, where they are dying to let the world know that they're a lot smarter than you think they are. Whereas I always preferred to be underestimated. I find that to be a much more advantageous way to approach situations.
What's James like? Well, now and then.
Well, as far as I know, he's strikes me as being very similar. I haven't seen him in 20 years in person. I haven't seen any of those guys. I saw Kirk a few years ago. He's the only guy I've spent any time with. James was always cool. He was totally chill back in 91.
Well, then and now because of his addiction and all that.
Yeah, I mean, he was drinking a lot. I mean, everybody was, but he didn't have any, it's different too. I mean, it's weird. Like, as the guy who's the centerpiece and the front man and the center of attention, was one of the few dudes in that position in a huge band who wanted to turn that off as soon as the show ended. Pretty quiet guy. And to my, we hung with him a good bit. And he always seemed very content to just be a part of the group as opposed to the center focal point of the group. They all called Lars's two nicknames in the band were Stars instead of Lars, and then the Prince. They just always called him the Prince. He was always trying to, Lars needs a lot of attention in those days. And
so he's like the Don Henley.
I guess so. He doesn't sing like Don Henley. I can tell you that. Not too many people do.
I was going to say, and he probably is not a poet like Don Henley.
Lars was a tennis player. His dad won Wimbledon, for God's sakes.
Really?
Yeah. Lars's father won the men's single title at Wimbledon in the 50s.
How bizarre is that?
And then Lars, up until he was like 16, man, he was like a total on his way to being a professional tennis player. And I'll tell you one thing he would do before the shows. He would slather Gatorade all over his arm. I mean, Gatorade, listen to me. Ben Gay all over his arms before a show. He had a tech who would be wearing gloves, and he would rub it into him, really like a deep tissue massage with Ben Gay. So when the show started, Lars's arms were just on fire. And I thought to myself, I bet that really does help loosen you up. I should try that sometime. And I'm still waiting to try that sometime. It never went past the point where I thought maybe that's worth looking into.
Well, after that surgery,
Well, I just didn't ever want to
Maybe you
actually
will.
play like Lars. It actually
Oh.
explained a lot. Like, God, no wonder he's in such a hurry.
Are there any like baby bands that you guys toured with that we would find surprising that you actually did like?
That we, well, I like a lot of bands. What does that mean?
No, okay, maybe that you didn't like. I don't know. Like
Well, when we toured, when we brought out opening bands, we rarely had rock bands out with us. We always we tried to make it as interesting as we could for the audience because we were dumb enough to think that was what the audience would like. You know, we had BR549, who's a Nashville honky tonk band, out for a year, and they were incredible. And our audience actually did always come around by the end of the show. We had the Dirty Dozen Brass Band from New Orleans for a whole year.
Yeah, I guess y'all did. You didn't do much like.
Well, the promoters would always say, "Here's the hot young band. You should take them." And our answer was always, "Nah, we're good." Which I'm not saying was a brilliant way to go about business, but that's what we did.
Yeah, it gives those guys a chance though to be in front of a big audience. And
we were a
introduce
little
it.
too self-involved to think about those sort of things, Danny. If we were trying to help people, we would have all worked for the Red Cross.
Or the what's the one that Kennedy made?
The Peace Corps, baby.
Yeah. I was about to say, what is Baby and Dirty Dancing? She wanted.
Then I would have gotten it. I didn't know it was Kennedy. I didn't know that Baby wanted to go and do it in Dirty Dancing.
You know, I've never seen Dirty Dancing.
Oh, you're just not right.
I know. I mean, I get the references all the time, but I've never seen Dirty Dancing or what's the other one? Footloose. Either one of those.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing with. We just talked
We
about.
just talked about them today.
At this point, it's like a quest. I got to see if I can make it through life with us. And I've also never watched a single episode of Friends. That's true.
Okay, you and I aren't friends, but I will tell you this. I never have seen one Star Wars.
That's okay.
Oh, I know.
That's
I'm
okay.
like the only person in radio, and I refuse
I'm
to
not
see
too.
it.
It's funny. It was only in the last few years where I actually saw Star Wars for what it was. Like, it literally at some point it just dawned on me. I was like, oh, it's like the Beatles of movies. You know, like it really hit me. Like every generation since, the number of ticket sales, it's like the biggest franchise movie thing of all time. And just because I was already around when it started, I didn't care in 6th grade. The first movie was okay. I really liked Empire Strikes Back. And then I was bored to death on Return of the Jedi, and I never looked back. You know, I saw those first 3, but it didn't. And I knew it was big, but it's really only hit me in the last few years as people who are my age, who are still obsessed with Star Wars and all their kids and their grandkids. And I'm like, oh my God, it really is like the Beatles of movie franchises. It's here forever. And
Well,
I've just been the guy who just didn't care.
You haven't missed anything because the Ewoks were campy and it just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
You said Ewoks. All right, you go, Jar. You have a better memory than I did.
Okay.
Except I can remember dates for some reason.
Here we go. '98 won the Max, and from 3 Snakes and a Charm, it is a Good Friday. That was correct, right, Steve Gorman?
I like that song.
No, 3 Snakes and a Charm.
3 Snakes and One Charm.
Yeah.
Album number 4, the difficult 4th album, I believe, is the unofficial subtitle.
Chris called it the Hangover album. Blackberry. What else?
You could call that record just about anything you wanted, and I could find a way to make it make sense. That thing's all over the place.
Yeah, it is. All right. As Danny said a few minutes ago, we talked with April Rose, and I asked her what her favorite Steve Gorman story is, and she alluded to you talking to James Hatfield in a Russian airport, and Lars walks up, and that's all she gave.
Yeah, it wasn't a Russian airport. It was Luton Airport. It was Gatwick Airport outside of London, but we were on our way to Russia. That's what we were doing. It was the 1991, the Monsters of Rock Festival tour. The final show was in Moscow. And so the morning before the show on a Friday morning, and again, I don't remember who put all these pieces together. I just showed up and, I just got on the bus and it dropped me off at an airport. Metallica and the Black Crowes flew from London to Moscow and back together on Paul McCartney's plane.
Oh,
again, I don't know who put all this together. I was just told we're going to Moscow with Metallica and we've got Paul McCartney's jet to do it. So, whoever put that together, thanks. Nice job. So we were waiting at this smaller terminal, like the private terminal at Gatwick, to leave. And Lars hadn't turned up yet. The other members of Metallica were there, and they were already big enough, the kind of band that was big enough where they did travel on their own if they wanted. They all had already made a lot of money. If you gave them a few days off, they'd all go cool places. We were on our first album, and so we were never never more than 20 feet away from each other the whole time. So we're standing there en masse. And James Hetfield walks in. He comes over, and we'd been on the road with them off and on for about 6 weeks. So it's like, what's up, dude? We're chatting. And then Jason shows up, and Kirk shows up, and their manager, Peter Mensch, turns up, and we're all waiting for Lars. And they're talking about him, going like, oh, he went down to Spain for the week, and he should be here any minute. And I'm just standing there thinking, like, what must it be like to be in a band where you get 4 days off and you just go to Spain? I'm just like, man, that's amazing. After a few minutes, here comes Lars. He comes up, and as Lars would do, he always makes his entrance known. And as he's walking to the group, he's got his bag on his shoulder. He's got dark sunglasses. It's 9 a.m. And before anybody can say anything, he says, "Nobody talk to me. I've got the worst hangover I've ever had." And that, to me, at the time, and I'm not saying this was a brilliant way to receive that information. At that time, what that said to me was, I should probably pick him up and put him over my shoulder and spin him around really fast.
Oh, no, you did not.
So I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'3", and Lars is not. And I probably, I'm almost twice his size. I just, before any filter in my brain said, don't do this to the drummer for the biggest band in the world, I had him on my shoulder. He was screaming no, and I literally just started spinning around like this. And I said, the best way to get over hangover is to throw up and get it out of your system. And as I'm doing this, everybody in my band's laughing. Lars is literally cussing and punching me as hard as he can, but I don't feel it because I'm on a roll. Hetfield and Jason and Kirk, the other 3 members of Metallica, are crying because they're laughing so hard. I mean, they're just dying, and they're encouraging me to keep going. They're like, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And I had that moment where I'm like, well, 3/4 of Metallica love this idea, and 1/4 of Metallica hates this idea. I'm going to ride out with the 3 guys. And so I never did get him to throw up. But I probably spun him I spun him around at least a dozen or 15 times, seriously. And when I was done, I was really dizzy. So I can't even imagine how dizzy he was. And it just set the tone for the next 2 days. Like, then we had like a long flight to Moscow, spent the whole afternoon and evening there with them. The next day was the festival. Then we all flew back the next night. That was just a good way to kick off our final weekend with Metallica. And I saw Hetfield for the last time. It was probably 20 years ago, but I ran into him at a hotel in LA. And the first thing he said was, he goes, "Man, we still talk about you spinning Lars that day at Gatwick. It was incredible. I've never seen him angrier in my life."
Did he get over it? He seems like the kind of guy that wouldn't get over it.
He had a bug up his ass the entire weekend. I mean, he really did. And then on the way home, when we were flying back, it was pretty obvious he was. And again, I get it. I mean, it's hard to imagine, because if somebody were to do that to me, they'd have to be like Andre the Giant size. So I was never at risk for someone in a band picking me up and wheeling me around on their shoulder. But if I were at a point where I'm at the apex of my career and some guy in a brand new band was messing with me to that level, I don't know that I'd have the sense of humor to get through it myself. So I don't blame Lars for thinking I was probably the biggest asshole he'd ever met for the rest of the weekend.
No, I don't blame him either. The balls to do that is pretty big. But like you said,
I was just living life like a Bill Murray character at that time, whatever. Hey, whatever. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, thank you for coming on. It's Steve Gorman with Steve Gorman Rocks. You can catch him every weeknight here on 98.1 The Max from 7 to midnight.
with a lot of great stories like that.
I mean, yeah, his stories just go on and on and on. And you're a great storyteller, so we will expect more tonight.
And today of all days, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it is 40 years since we lost John Bonham.
Wow.
How did we get you on days?
Yeah, last week was Jimmy. This week is John.
Well, that's not me. That's them. They planned it that way.
They knew that we needed you to come on Friday mornings.
The first few generations of rockers, it was all about the calendar and scheduling those events to make sure that they'd be talked about forever. So credit to those guys.
And you do your show with John right behind you in a picture, don't you?
I do. I'm looking at him now. I have a giant framed print of a Jim Marshall photograph of John Bonham that has been in my home for many years.
And you always had the Zozo on your drum kit, correct?
No, I don't think I ever had the Zoso on there. We did a tour with Jimmy Page, and we had a Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes like logo on there, and that might have been a part of that, but that was the only time.
We stalk you, Steve. We stalk you. We know what's in your home, what's on your drum kit.
Well,
it's getting a little uncomfortable. I'll be honest.
I mean, I'm sure Danny's traveled out of Memphis to watch you because we've seen the Black Crowes many a time.
Oh, yes. I've seen him many places other than Memphis. Well, thank you again, Steve Gorman of Steve Gorman Rocks with April Rose. Weeknights, you can catch him tonight, 7 o'clock on 98.1 The Max, and we'll catch you at 3.
Always a pleasure. See you guys.
And he's gone.